Hey, welcome to Film versus Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Chris Shurr.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and hunted from Long Island to the Bahamas by the janky robot of public opinion. And one of us tells you why it's actually pretty good.
And the other one's going to tell you why it's a steaming pile of shit.
And today, we are talking about the fourth entry in... I was going to say historic, but it's just a franchise. We are discussing Jaws: The Revenge.
This time it's personal.
Yeah, and if you listen to our Speed 2 episode, then you'll know this is the fifth movie we discuss that largely takes place on water. If you're just scrolling through our episode titles, you gotta think we have some vendetta against the ocean.
This is just called like Belton and Chris review movies about the ocean.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, we gotta like establish some sort of lore for the podcast. I don't know. Someone's gonna look at this, and be like, did they both watch their parents drown or something?
Yeah, actually, my grandpa, 19 different sharks tore him to pieces. I guess it's like shooting on water is hard. So therefore, when you fuck up on water, you fuck up like so much worse than if you were shooting on land.
Yeah. That's gotta be, yeah. Cause you think of like famous movies that have shot on water. You have Titanic, where they use a tank and they essentially looked at Waterworld and was like, all right, let's not do what they did. And then you have Jaws, which they had a lot of problems, but it was also directed by Steven Spielberg. So that's the level of filmmaker you have to be to pull off a movie on the open ocean.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't get into it, but also like moving it to the Caribbean makes no sense. I feel like part of the reason Jaws works so well is there was like an opaqueness to the water. You couldn't be like, oh yeah, that's a shark. You're like, oh, okay, it's coming towards. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was weird because there were shots where you see the water is crystal clear, and then suddenly the shark's there. So yeah, let's get into the plot. For any of you Jaws heads out there, this just knocked Jaws 3D out of canon. That's why I read apparently like Martin Brody, the main character of the original movie, like his family had some sort of different life in Jaws 3D, and this one said, nah, fuck that, we're starting over.
I don't remember anything about. I know they're in like a water park in Jaws 3D, I think.
Jaws 3D is a concept to me. I haven't seen it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a punchline in Back to the Future 2, and that's where it sits in my head.
Yeah, I think they're like a water park. I just remember watching it as a kid. I got really into the Jaws. I read the book Jaws, which, why? I don't know why I did that, but I was like, oh yeah, I saw it on Mythbusters, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this Jaws book because I'm a different fucking kind of 10-year-old. And
like, you heard of Jaws, you Googled it, and somehow the first thing you found was the novel.
Yeah, I found it at the library, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be great. But Jaws 3D, I just remember watching it. I recorded it on like the DVR in my house, and since my TV wasn't in 3D, none of it made any sense. And I was too young to like kind of figure that out. I was just like, man, the effects are terrible. Like, even for a 10-year-old, these are bad. But it was just 3D not showing up in 3D. It was really bad.
Yeah, no, I remember like when they had Spy Kids 3D. I saw that in theaters. I saved the glasses. I'm like, when this comes out on like DVD, it's gonna be awesome again. And so I rented it from the library. It was not the 3D version, so the glasses were useless. Yeah, all right, let's get into the plot of Jaws: The Revenge. So at the very beginning of the film, they established Martin Brody, who was the main character, police chief of the original Jaws film, died 18 months prior from a heart attack. His widow, Ellen, still lives on Amity Island near their youngest son, Sean, and their oldest son, Michael, lives in the Bahamas with his wife and daughter as a marine biologist. and so as police deputy, Sean responds to a call to clear a log from a buoy, and there he's attacked and killed by a shark.
Is that something cops normally do?
I don't know. I guess I could see a small island town. It's something where it's like the police just do a bunch of stuff like that. I could see the police just having a boat there.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So while in town for the funeral, Michael's wife Thea convinces Ellen to spend the holidays down with them in the Bahamas, and on the way there, Ellen clicks with the pilot of their small plane, Hoagie, and they're just immediately into each other.
Yeah, Michael Caine saw a grief-stricken woman and was like, "Oh yeah, it's on."
Yeah, like
it's on.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if I can emphasize this out of all the films we've done for this podcast. Those are two characters where I look at them and was just like, yeah, they fucked a lot.
Yeah, I'm all on board for it. Yeah. I don't know. Like, how could you not fuck Michael Caine when he's flying around the Bahamas on a plane?
Yeah, because
that's the most realistic part of the movie.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, just like on a small island, hooking out with a pilot like that. That's the main part of the movie you can get behind.
That is like what every white woman dreams of when they go to the Bahamas.
Yeah, no, that is one thing. Like watching it is like, oh man, all the people on the book side of TikTok would love this. All right, so when they get there after New Year's, Michael goes back to work, but Ellen insists he shouldn't get on that boat, shouldn't go back in the water. But he just got his first big grant, so he has to work to make money. And like also something to note, whenever the shark comes up in this movie, Ellen has this like spidey sense about it. Like she knows it's happening even though she's not there for any of it.
Yeah, she's got a real like Madam Web-esque power where she can tell when her family is going to get eaten by a shark.
Yeah, like it'll literally be like there's a shark attack, she's nowhere near, and then it'll cut to her just like chopping up vegetables or something, and she's just like, I sense a disturbance.
It's supposed to have been a fun movie to write.
Yeah.
Like just writing where you're like, oh yeah, we could do whatever we want. Yeah. It's Jaws 4, baby.
Yeah. It's like how people joke about how the writer's room in Riverdale must be. All right. So Michael goes back to work. While on his boat, his partner Jake and their crew encounter the shark, which is supposedly the same shark that followed them all the way from Amity Island. And keep in mind, Amity Island, like I believe it's supposed to be just off of Long Island, New York. So it followed them all the way from the Northeast United States all the way to the Bahamas.
They missed out so badly. There should have been a shot where Ellen is looking out the window of the plane and it just cuts to the shark chasing him. Like it breaches the water and kind of like looks at her in the
eyes. No, I'm just imagining like at that point you have the robot like go through Ellen's mail, figure it out she's going to the Bahamas, and just book a flight, just sitting on a plane reading like a book or something. All right, so they decided to start doing research on the shark, since they even point out in the movie, due to warm waters in the Bahamas, sharks are rarely seen there. I'm not sure if that's a fact.
Usually smaller sharks, like a great white's not going to do well in the Bahamas.
Okay. Yeah, smaller sharks are often there. The thing is, that shark did not look like a great white.
No, it didn't. It barely looked like a shark. It looked like garbage. Like it looks like you had a somewhat decent animatronics and then they just let it rot in a warehouse since they shot Jaws. And then they're like, okay, it looks like crap now. What if we just repainted it quickly?
Yeah, it's like they bought an old robot from Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Yeah, it's really bad. It can't move quickly. Every single shot of it is just glacial paste. You're like, I don't believe it could catch up to a banana boat like they showed.
Oh yeah. Also the way it moves up and down the water, that's not how sharks move, because like sharks just keep moving forward. This one just lifted up and down like a helicopter. It was so weird. All right, so yeah, they decide to do research on the shark, but agree not to tell Michael's family since his mom's paranoid about that. Ellen continues to have nightmares about the shark and can feel when it's about to attack one of her loved ones. So back on the research boat, Jake stabs a tracker onto the shark. The next day, while Michael's scuba diving in the ocean, the shark chases him through a shipwreck, and he just nearly escapes. Which that scene first, I'm pretty sure a shark would not swim in like that close quarters. But also the way Michael escapes, like I've been scuba diving before. I'm not sure if they just had like different regulations and standards in the 80s, but so the way he escapes in the movie, he takes off his scuba tank, turns it upside down, and then opens it up so that all the air releasing just propels him up. Like standard equipment in scuba diving, you have this what's essentially an inflatable life jacket, so that you can control like how buoyant you are and easily float up. But then also you specifically have a weight belt that's there so that if you need to go quickly, you can just drop the weights and send you up. And it's like all of that would have been much quicker than taking off the heavy tank and having it shoot you up.
Okay, but also, have you ever heard of aerated water? So like if there's aerated water, humans are no longer more buoyant. So if you were to aerate all the water, you just sink. So like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Like maybe the bubbles would push you out. Maybe I'm wrong, but like when I was watching, I'm like, oh, he just create a bubble screen and just start falling because he was no longer buoyant in the water.
Yeah, I think that that's the thing, because like with the original Jaws movie, like although it took some liberties, there was still a sense that like, oh yeah, someone who actually understood science read the script and gave him the notes. This had none of that.
No.
This is just like some guy who grew up in, I'm gonna guess Oklahoma, and was like, I think this is how sharks are, and I was just like, yep.
And they're like, why? And he's like, well, I watched all the other Jaws movies, and he's like, it just kept getting more and more realistic.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like going over top like this. Very few franchises have pulled it off like Fast and the Furious, and it seems like that has to be the gold standard on like how to turn a franchise crazy.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. So after Michael escapes the shipwreck, Michael's daughter goes while his wife Carla is presenting an art sculpture on the beach. Their daughter goes on banana boat with some friends, and the shark chases down, attacks the banana boat, killing her friend's mom. And when Michael gets back to his family and learns about it, he admits he knew about the shark but didn't tell anyone, just pissing off everyone.
I just like those stakes where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill the friend's mom.
Yeah, the friend's mom. We don't even meet the friend. Like like that's and like the thing is, his daughter also got like generic cookie cutter kid dialogue, like to the point when watching a movie, I was like, I feel like they could replace his daughter entirely with a different actress, and I wouldn't even notice.
Like when she's dying, they're like, "Oh no, it's your friend's mom."
So once he gets back, Ellen decides to take his boat and go after the shark herself. Hoagie flies Michael and Jake out, and they find the shark chasing Ellen on the boat. And during the flight, Hoagie explains that Ellen believes the shark is hunting the family. They get to once they get to the boat, they make an electrical impulse device. Jake gets it into the shark's mouth as he's getting dragged underwater. And as Michael electrocutes the shark, Ellen steers the boat so that the front of it impales the shark. And so this part actually has a different ending for the original theatrical version and the international theatrical and DVD version that we watched. So in the original version, the shark simply bleeds out and dies, and ends up sinking the boat with it. In the version we watched, when Ellen impales a shark, it explodes.
It explodes. And it's not, I don't even know how to describe it. It's literally like if the shark ate 15,000 pounds of dynamite and then you hit a detonator.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is like we'll get to like why he changed it, but like in the original Jaws movie, they kill him by shooting like a tank of compressed air while it's in the shark's mouth, and so I'm thinking like, oh, did they just want to recreate that? And so, because they gave Ellen the flashback of that happening, which also she again was not there for, and it's just like, all right, this will make just as much sense the second time around, and it'll be a nice callback. But here it just feels so goofy.
It seems like they like ran out of money or something. They're like, we only have one more second to shoot this film. And they're like, what if it exploded? And they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. We'll get some shots of them swimming in the water. Boom, movie's done.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like, if this was a comedy or even like a different sort of horror, like they could have gotten away with it. Like if it was like a slashy gory horror, like something that reminds you of Quentin Tarantino, they could have gotten away with it. Or if it's a comedy, you go over the top and have everyone splattered with blood. But this just did none of that. Just this stabbing inexplicably makes the shark explode like it has a button.
Yeah, it'd be like if during Saving Private Ryan, 2 hours in, they're just like, well, I found a Nazi killing button, and then they hit it, and then World War II just ends. And they're like, what's up, Ryan? It was bad.
Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Also, difference in the version we watched, Jake lives. They just find him like severely injured and floating.
He just lives.
Yeah, and so then after that, Hoagie flies Ellen back to Amity Island. And so this movie, it went into production when Universal was struggling and Jaws 3D had recently come out. And despite a lot of negative reviews, it was still a hit at the box office. And they had the idea of making a Jaws ride at Universal Studios Park. So they fast tracked this production. So like when following the timeline, keep in mind it was greenlit in September 1986, and they fast tracked it so it could come out in the summer of 1987. So they quickly brought on Joseph Sargent to direct. This guy mostly directed TV shows and TV movies. I'm about to like severely date him on how old he He directed episodes of Lassie, Bonanza, and Gunsmoke. Yeah.
That's like, those are some great credits.
Yeah, those are great credits. It does say something that we're in 2024. I can say that and still mean something. But in a 2006 interview, he did say the premise was born out of a little bit of desperation to find something fresh to do with the shark, and they thought like maybe taking on a mystical point of view.
Telling you, fun in the writers room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Michael de Guzman was brought on to write the script. It's worth noting that out of all his produced credits, this is the only thing that was not made for TV. Like everything else, it's either a TV show or TV movie.
Well, released on British TV. Did you read it? Do you have a section in this?
Not on that.
Oh, so it released on British TV and they didn't do the right formatting. And so like all the stuff that would have been letterboxed out was visible. So when the shark was eating people, you could see the wires controlling electronics.
Oh man. So yeah, in their script development, on November 2nd, 1986, that's when they had a workable outline to start on pre-production and get everything ready. January 23rd, 1987 is when they had a final draft completed, and that was 9 days before production was starting. So like the final shooting script was completed during production. They tried to get Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Schneider, who were the stars of the original Jaws film, to return. Both of them refused. Apparently, Roy Schneider, who played the police captain Brody, the original idea was that he was going to be the shark's first kill, but when he declined, they made his character just die before the film started. And so the only original cast member returning is Lorraine Gary, who played Ellen Brody, and apparently she only came back because she got to work with Michael Caine, which is understandable.
Didn't Michael Caine have to pay a mortgage on his house or something? Like, isn't there a quote where they ask him, they're like, "Are you going to get to that?"
Oh yeah, I'm getting to that. Yeah, I feel based on like everything I found, I feel like if you asked Michael Caine his least favorite Michael Caine movie, he might say this. So he signed on for and for starters, he won an Oscar for the film Hannah and Her Sisters. Because he was shooting this movie, he could not receive it in person.
Does he have another Oscar?
He has another Oscar.
Okay.
But I also feel like that's crazy to just not make an exception for that, to not work around someone's schedule.
This is Jaws the Revenge, baby. This is important work. You're talking about your Oscar you won now for supporting actor. What about the Oscar you're going to win with Jaws the Revenge? This is a Best Picture nominee. This is this goddamn gold.
Yeah, no, because I'm thinking like because when Brie Larson won her Oscar, she was shooting Kong Skull Island at the time, and like I heard stories of like, yeah, she essentially flew out for the weekend to get her Oscar and flew back, and it's like they couldn't do the same thing for Michael Caine.
I guess it's like, I don't know, maybe Michael Caine doesn't care that much. Maybe he's just like, all right, it's not that big a deal that I won an Oscar. I don't want to go to the party. This is like a really convenient excuse to get paid not to go to an awards event.
Yeah, I mean, about Jaws the Revenge, he does have the famous quote where he was asked about it in an interview, and he said, "I've never seen it, but by all accounts, it's terrible. However, I have seen the house that it built, and it's terrific." Yeah, and in his 1992 autobiography, What's It All About?, he does say that the film will go down in his memory as a time he won an Oscar, paid for a house, and had a great holiday. Not bad for a flop movie. Yeah, I mean, that's a way to see a silver lining.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. not everything's going to be a win. Sometimes things are just a paycheck.
Yeah.
Plus,
True.
he wasn't bad in it.
That is also true.
It's kind of like a Nick Cage situation where even though he could probably tell this was going to be a big pile of shit, he like still tried to an extent.
Oh yeah, because going through it, it seemed like no one liked the script, but they're like, we already signed on. That's feels like a general vibe. So,
okay, so a budget of 23 million. How much do you think went to Michael Caine?
I imagine he got like desperation money, like at some like they couldn't get back the original stars, so they're like, we at least need a big name so that people don't think this is a loser movie.
Yep.
All right, but as mentioned before, they did change the ending after it came out. In the original ending, they impale the shark, boat goes down, Jake also dies. It was apparently hated so much when it came out that they shot the new ending 5 days after release.
That seems better though.
I just want to see the original ending because you think like that's an ending that like makes more sense and feels more in line with the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So this movie came out July 17th, 1987 on a budget of $23 million. It made $51.9 million at the box office. So not bad. And it set a new podcast record for lowest Rotten Tomato score at 2%.
They made a franchise film that was worse than Cool as Ice. In my head, that is the bar, is Cool as Ice. Anything that's worse than Cool as Ice is in like a whole new category of bad. Because like you could be like, well, I kind of expected the Vanilla Ice movie to be bad. You're like, I could see why that wouldn't be a good movie. But like, by all means, like a Jaws movie should be at least like 15%.
Yeah, because like they still make shark movies. Like like they came out with a second Meg movie last year, and that got way more than 2%. Yeah, it also got a 3 on IMDb. It was nominated for 7 Razzie Awards and 1 for worst visual effects.
No tracks.
Yeah. I got I still can't believe they got because if you don't know, in the original Jaws movie, the reason you don't see the shark as much is because they had problems with the robot. For this movie, they had a worse robot, and you see it a lot more.
It was that robot popped when I was like 10. When I was 10, I was like, oh, this is a big shark. But rewatching it as a 29-year-old, I'm just like, man, this is garbage. This is so, I could make a better animatronic than this. Probably not, but like, I think I could make something equally as good.
I mean, so I know they were playing around with different ways to portray the shark. Like at some point, they floated the idea of miniatures. Like apparently, nothing looked as good as the robot, which makes me really want to see the miniatures they were gonna do.
Look, okay, I'll rewrite Jaws 4 right now. Here's what they do: don't show the shitty robot at all. If you can't make a good robot, then you just shouldn't show the robot. Here's what you do. It's set, they're out at sea, the shark takes their rudder, and they slowly go mad as they feel bumps on the boat of the shark hunting them, and then they just all die at sea and the franchise ends.
That actually would have been a better movie. Like, it reminds me, like, I haven't seen it, but you know the Blake Lively movie, The Shallows?
Yep, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it's it seems like similar to that. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like it would be much better than this.
Admittedly, that's kind of just. Have you ever seen the movie The Reef?
No.
It's a boat flips upside down, and then they're just stuck out in the middle of nowhere, Australia, getting picked off by sharks.
Oh wow,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I should get more. I should get more well versed in like good movies at sea now.
Did you see 17 Meters Down or shit. What's that movie where they get stuck in the shark cage?
No.
47 meters below or something.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that advertised.
Okay, so they did that one, and that one I never saw the first one. I saw the second one in theaters when they're in like a ancient Mexican cave, and the shark is blind. Great shark movie. Knew exactly what they were doing with the shark. Shark like looked decent. It wasn't the best shark I've ever seen in the world, but it was like a decent shark. They showed it the right amount. I don't know. This movie just sucked. I know I'm about to defend it, but like, God, it was so bad. This might be the shortest amount of writing I've ever written for a defense of a movie.
All right. Well, now it is time for our opening statements. I will be attacking the movie.
And I'll be defending.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Jaws the Revenge, while missing the bar set by Spielberg in Jaws 1, is a solid tale of the dangers of the ocean and the hubris of humanity as it contends with nature. A gripping tale of a family's perseverance over the collective trauma of devastating loss. This time, it's personal.
All right. If you ever thought to yourself, wow, Jaws was amazing and definitely needs a sequel, you need to watch Jaws the Revenge to realize you're an idiot. A studio's Hail Mary no one wanted to touch. This film has no idea what it wants to be. Assembled with no care, this film jumps between the plot that makes its main character look dumb, the other characters with no personality, and a shark that looks like a broken theme park ride. They don't need a bigger boat because they just sink it even faster.
All right, I'm just going to come right out. There's a lot of shark attacks. Like for a Jaws movie, they got that part right. People are being eaten by sharks.
Yeah, people are being eaten by sharks. The thing with the shark attacks, like aside from the shark looking bad, they just aren't shot well. Like it's just a bunch of shots that don't go together. Just cut up. You can't tell what's happening.
But isn't that very representative of the chaos of a real shark attack?
Yeah, I guess, but there's still like you can frame it so that you have an idea of like, oh, I need to escape. This is what I'm doing, and until like it slows down because the person's dying. Also, like there are multiple shots where like the shark just grabs people by a torso and sinks them down. It's like looking at like at the frame. That's what really makes a shark look fake, because like those people just do not look in danger when they're inside the shark's mouth.
Yeah, I'll give you some credit. The banana boat scene when the shark bites that woman and then just half of its body is out of the water with the woman like chilling out in its mouth. It didn't look amazing. Like, I don't know. Sharks don't boast their kills to an extent. They just like pull them down.
Yeah, because also like if we're talking just from like biology scientific standpoint, it's like the main thing in Jaws, like the only thing that like really made it scientifically inaccurate was the idea that sharks like to go after people, where usually a shark attack is like a shark mistaking people for other food. They take one bite and be like, oh, humans are disgusting, and go away. This it's like so like they already have that with this movie, but like taking it far, that like the idea that we have like what Jaws Wick or like some Inigo Montoya shark that's gonna hunt down these specific people. Like I'm trying to think of the logic of a shark even doing this, like being able to tell like the first guy, like, oh, you are the son of the guy that killed my father or whatever, I'm gonna get you, and then being able to go like, oh, your family moved to the Bahamas, I'm gonna go to the Bahamas.
It's a shark of prophecy. It's capable of divining things from this universe that humans can't experience. Quite frankly, it's the next step in evolution of living creatures on Earth.
It sounds like you're just pitching like Shark X-Men right now.
It's actually more like Shark Jesus. Shark Jesus. Jesus Crunch.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is
Jaws Crunch. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, if you're gonna like do a premise this ridiculous, I feel like you gotta go one of two ways. Either you gotta like from the beginning go all out and just be aware of it, or you gotta like slowly creep it in, like maybe something like have Ellen like slowly discover there's the same shark and how it's tracking her down. This did none of that. It just like did like just enough crazy at the beginning, and then Ellen's just like, I know exactly how this works, and no explanation for that.
Okay, can we just like talk a second for some things they did great? Michael Caine buzzed a great white shark in an airplane like he was a World War II fighter jet that ran out of bullets. The shark roars, you know, when it got hit with the electromagnetic impulse, the shark roars every single time. You know, like sharks do. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
It makes the shark scarier.
Yeah, I honestly, I will say the electrical impulse device, I do think that was a clever way to get the shark. To get the shark, I think like if they had like pulled off that scene a bit better, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah, it's a little odd. The climax is someone just like beating on kind of a flashlight. Like he's just like tapping the flashlight, hoping it works. I wish they had just stuck with just the electromagnetic impulse rather than adding in the boat ramming explosive.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I feel like if they wanted like a big climactic ending, they could have done something like, instead of simply shocking him from the inside, it's like they shoot the shark and just completely electrocute fries him, and you just see like the corpse wash up on shore or something. But then that would have involved seeing the shark more, which is already a problem.
You could have like a bunch of fish kind of float up from the surface to prove how electrical it was.
Oh yeah,
it could have been cool.
Oh yeah, like they send out a warning to the town. It's like, no one in the water until I say so.
And then it could have explained why Jake's alive. So they could add a scene where Jake's like bleeding out and his heart stopped, and then the electrical, he gets hit with like electricity through the water and it restarts his heart. Yeah, look, we're just coming up with better ideas than the filmmakers did.
I know. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure the writer, it's like they just brought him in a room. It's like, you have 1 hour to come up with a Jaws movie, and and they can. And he walked out of that room after an hour. We're like, all right, we're going with it.
The Michael Caine Ellen romance, that was the only interesting relationship in the whole movie.
Yeah, honestly, they were done well, because like even Michael's wife is like, her personality is art sculpture and sex. Like like every half the scene she's in, it's implied they're either about to have sex or they just had sex. like literally, he's in front of his window, like in his underwear, like contemplating the shark, while she's just laying naked in their bed.
Come to bed, baby. The shark's in the water. It can't get you here.
Yeah, and there was that one scene where he walks into the garage while she's working on the art sculpture. I don't even know what he was there for, but they just start having sex. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
No, it's like I feel like writing wise, it's like okay, we need them to have like a high in their relationship, show that they're good before to make like the betrayal of him not telling anyone about the shark more devastating, and like sure on time they were just like, well, what's better than sex? Write it in everywhere.
I don't know why they're like, hey, this woman just lost her son to a shark. They're like, let's take her to another island. I feel like they could take her to like Ohio or something.
I mean, they did point out that like sharks aren't seen in the Bahamas, so like that makes sense. Plus, it's like you know, just get away from the town for a while, enjoy the beach, hang out with your granddaughter. You know that part makes sense to me, but I do think like the emotional through line through his movie is all over the place. Like there are so many scenes that felt like they weren't written to connect with the one before or after it.
Yeah, they did just kind of throw. They're like, the shark has to die at some point, and then they're like, how can we get there?
Yeah, and so yeah, and it's like because also like they start off. It feels like Ellen's supposed to be the main character, but she doesn't do much. She like cries about a shark and gets it on with Michael Caine. That's all she does in the movie.
Is there really a main character? I guess it's the son, but like even it doesn't really feel like he has a strong protagonist.
No, because it feels like he's the only one with like a want and a need, but they don't play on that need because like his want is he wants to continue doing research so he can get the grant. His need is like he needs to keep his family's like safety and well-being in mind, but that doesn't come into play until his daughter's almost attack. Whereas like they could have done small things like continuing to like ignore his daughter because he's so overwhelmed with work. It's like yo he gets angry at his wife and accidentally calls her sculpture stupid. Like the two things don't correlate. They even have the one scene where he's just playing with his daughter. The entire scene, its purpose seems to be to show how much he and his daughter get along and like each other. Because also he started that scene working, and it's like, all right, clearly work is not getting in the way of this.
No, I think they should have made him behind the shark attacks. Like he's slowly been training sharks to hunt his family because he wants the house in Amity, New York.
No, actually, like if they had something where he's like, we need something interesting for research and figure out how to attract sharks there, that would also go along with like the themes established in the first Jaws movie. Because the whole thing with the first Jaws movie was the police chief going like, we need to handle this shark and close the beach for safety, and the mayor going, but the economy.
Close the beach? Are you nuts?
I will say, like, along with the premise, I think it could have gone better if like they gave Ellen more of a Sarah Connor role and just made her like more knowledgeable about sharks, and like as she learned it is like something where she knows at the end, it's like, oh, this is the same shark that killed Sean. And I don't know. You're already dealing with mystics stuff. Just make it like, oh yeah, the family has like some sort of crystal that's actually attracting sharks to wherever they go.
I wish the movie started off with her doing like a voodoo type ceremony to try and bring Martin Brody back from the dead, and then that attracts the shark. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. One thing I've learned about like particularly white teenagers, they love a Ouija board. So now it's time for our concessions. This is where I give 3 things I liked about the movie, and Chris gives 3 things she didn't like. My first thing, as we mentioned before, Lauren Gary and Michael Caine have chemistry. Like, their dynamic is definitely the best part about the movie. I think if it was more about Ellen and we got more of those scenes, the movie would be better.
I agree with that. Yeah, they're the only good part. Because it's Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if he acted that good. I'm just like, oh, I like Michael Caine.
Yeah, because also at this point he's a very prominent actor. It's not like this is one of his first roles and he really needs to check.
Yeah. This just says, what the fuck was that ending? It was terrible. That ending made you're just like, they set up this like decent ending with like the electromagnetic pulses and the sharks roaring, and then like the shark just partially gets penetrated with a wood stick and explodes. And we're like 30 pounds of C4 type of, this wasn't just like it popped or like it like blew out the side. This was like, we're trying to get rid of all these explosives, so we're going to blow them up type explosion. It explodes the whole boat. There's no boat left after the shark explodes.
Yeah, it's like when they were ordering explosives, they meant to order 10, but the guy who ordered them those European ones that look like 7s. So they're like, oh man, we gotta use all 70 of these.
It sucked. Although by the end, you're just so ready for it to end that you're like, oh, okay, they're not going to draw this out anymore.
Yeah. No, I was about to say my next concession is actually the exploding shark. Like, given the rest of the movie, when the shark explodes, I burst out laughing. Like, like that was honestly, like, that was the most fun I had watching this movie.
Okay, I've just got to quickly add in, I kind of forgot to bring it up. For as much as we shit on movies for being both bad and long, this one is 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Mad respect. A lot of respect just for being like, all right, let's keep it short.
Yeah. I don't think they had time to write a longer script.
The shark looks like dog shit. If you can't make a good shark, don't make a shark movie. It's almost better if you just never saw the shark. Like, I think that would be, if you're going to make this movie and you just didn't show the shark and you just saw like blood pooling and people getting brought under the water, equally or like a much better movie. But that shark is so distracting.
Yeah.
And it moves so slowly.
Oh yeah, no, because that's what they did with the first Jaws movie. And it's like, I'm not sure Jaws started this, but like there is a practice with horror movies. It's like, hey, don't reveal the monster until the end. And it's like, yeah, because it creates suspense. And it's like, there are a lot of scenes where I'm watching him and be like, this would be better if we just didn't see the shark.
Yeah.
Because like I remember like the first scene of the original Jaws where it's like the girl's just in the water and she just suddenly starts bopping up and down until she just goes under. It's like, that was terrifying. And
they're like, look out, it's the shark. I think they also had a pretty bad slow-mo scene in this movie, but I'm blanking on where.
Honestly, all the shark attacks were just shot so similarly, they just mesh in my mind.
Yeah.
All right. My last concession, at the start of the movie, when they just have the scene of like Sean, his mom, and Michael on the phone, I thought that that was nice. They set up like the family dynamics. Well, they that's when they felt the most like a real family and people who regularly interact with each other and had lives. And it's like, oh, that and it's like, that was nice. That felt like the scene that was that took the longest to write. I just wish like they kept up like all that dynamics throughout the film. Because also, what happened to Sean's fiance? like she was in that first scene. They established her as his fiance, and then we never see her again.
She's doing grieving widow stuff. You know, putting on coats. I don't know what grieving widows do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't know what they do. But like that's what she's doing.
I don't know. It does feel like she was just there to establish Sean had a life and make us feel bad about him dying. But like we already see, he has a job. He interacts with people in the town. She was unnecessary. Like if you wanted to have that character, you could have something where it's like she goes down to Bahamas because Michael's wife is her best friend or something. Like I think that would have been very very easy to throw in there.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I've got a question for you. That whose revenge is it? Is it the shark? Is it the shark's revenge, or is it the family's revenge against the shark? Or is it just revenge is the theme in general? This isn't even a concession. I just like the title is baffling.
Yeah, I feel like it's the shark's revenge. Like I feel like it's meant to be implied the shark is like the original Jaws son or something, like son of Jaws, and he's going after the family that like killed his dad. It was like or their mom. I don't know. Jaws could be a girl.
I think Jaws was a woman. I don't have anything to back that up.
I don't know. I don't know. It was like I do think like also there's something there. It's like if this had more time to develop. Maybe this could have been a thing where it's like the whole thing is a metaphor for Ellen's grief, but they do not really touch on that at all.
Okay, the story is fucking stupid. A shark hunts a family across the ocean. The son, who happens to be a leading shark scientist, I guess, or I guess he's just a regular marine biologist, but he knows enough about sharks. And a grieving mother commit to killing the shark by going out to sea, but then she ends up going by herself for some reason. And they also have a plane. And also you can see the shark through the crystal clear water. So theoretically, you could just fly the plane and look for the giant great white shark. It's just a bad movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know he wasn't studying sharks because he's a marine biologist, but I'm pretty sure they show him like tagging conch shells. So he wasn't studying sharks. But yeah, honestly, the whole playing thing, that's something where it's like as much as we're like, America is dumb for going to like a shoot it first mentality in a lot of cases. That is an instance where you just get a plane with a gun and go America, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Closing statement.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Is Jaws a franchise that should have stopped at 1? Yes. But that doesn't change the fact it ended with a splat. There are a lot of different directions they could have gone, and they chose none of the good ones. That 2% on Rotten Tomatoes is 2 percentage points too high.
Jaws the Revenge is as good as a fourth installment of a franchise can be. It's a film that strips down the elements of Jaws to its barest form. No longer hidden by the novelty of the shark horror genre, it's a simple tale of man versus shark, wide open in the light of day for everybody to see. That statement meant nothing. That just like means those are just words put together.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't know if you feel it was like sometimes on the podcast, it's like I'm a criminal defense attorney for just someone who clearly did it.
You're like, well, we've clearly proven that he murdered the woman, but like, what is murder? Why do we have so many issues against it? And quite frankly, is the judge a pussy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like all you can do is sidebar with your client and be like, did you have to post your plan to Twitter before you did this?
All right. You want to end this bad boy?
Yeah. All right. This has been another episode of Film versus Movie. I'm Belton DeLaine-Facey.
My name's Chris Shurr.
And we'll see you next time.